What if Europe's first advanced civilization didn't collapse because of war, but because of a mystery we still can't fully explain? Imagine a powerful society filled with grand palaces, advanced technology, and peaceful culture suddenly vanishing from history. No clear records, no confirmed cause, no final answers. Today, we are going to solve one of history's greatest puzzles: why the Minoan Civilization, one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world, disappeared so suddenly, and what secrets they left behind that historians are still struggling to decode. Long before ancient Greece became famous for philosophy, democracy, and mythology, another civilization dominated the Aegean Sea. The Minoan Civilization, centered on the island of Crete, flourished nearly 4,000 years ago and became Europe's first major advanced society. They built massive palaces, developed complex art, established trade networks across the Mediterranean, and lived in cities that lacked defensive walls, suggesting a society that valued prosperity and stability over warfare. Yet despite their brilliance, the Minoans remain one of history's greatest enigmas. Their writing system remains partially undeciphered, their religious beliefs are still debated, and their sudden decline continues to puzzle archaeologists and historians. Unlike many ancient civilizations, the Minoans did not leave behind clear historical records explaining their fall. Instead, they left ruins, artwork, myths, and fragments of stories that raise more questions than answers. Today, we will dive deep into the rise, achievements, mysterious culture, and unexplained disappearance of the Minoan civilization, uncovering clues that may finally help us understand Europe's first great mystery. Long before the rise of Athens-Sparta or even the legendary Trojan War, a powerful civilization was quietly shaping the future of Europe from an island in the Aegean Sea. Around 3000 BCE, on the rugged yet fertile island of Crete, small farming communities began transforming into something far more extraordinary. Surrounded by deep blue waters and positioned between Egypt, Mesopotamia, and mainland Greece, Crete became the perfect crossroads for cultural exchange, trade, and innovation. Over centuries, these early settlers developed into what historians now call the Minoan Civilization, a society that would become Europe's first advanced civilization and one of the ancient world's most fascinating mysteries. Unlike many early civilizations that rose beside major rivers, the Minoans thrived on an island landscape filled with mountains, valleys, and natural harbors. This unique geography forced them to look outward toward the sea rather than inward toward land expansion. The sea became their highway, their defense system, and their greatest economic advantage. By 2000 BCE, the Minoans had developed advanced shipbuilding skills, allowing them to travel across the Mediterranean with confidence and control trade routes connecting Egypt, the Near East, and mainland Europe. Trade became the lifeblood of Minoan power. Their ships carried olive oil, wine, pottery, saffron, and finely crafted goods across vast distances. In return, they imported precious metals, luxury materials, and new ideas that helped their society grow stronger and more sophisticated. Archaeological discoveries have revealed Minoan artifacts in Egypt, Syria, and even distant Mediterranean islands, proving how widely their influence spread. This network of trade not only brought wealth but also allowed the Minoans to become cultural innovators, blending foreign influences with their own unique artistic and technological advancements. As their wealth increased, the Minoans began constructing enormous palace complexes that served as political, economic, and religious centers. These palaces were not just royal homes. They were bustling hubs of administration, storage, and community life. The most famous of these structures, located at Knossos, reveals a level of architectural sophistication far ahead of its time. Multi-story buildings, advanced drainage systems, vibrant fresco paintings, and massive storage rooms filled with goods demonstrated the incredible organizational skills of Minoan society. What makes the rise of the Minoans even more remarkable is how different their society appears compared to other ancient civilizations. While many early societies were dominated by kings, warfare, and rigid military structures, evidence suggests the Minoans may have focused more on trade, culture, and prosperity. Their artwork frequently depicts scenes of nature, festivals, and ceremonial activities rather than battle scenes or military conquests. This has led historians to question whether the Minoans developed a more cooperative and economically driven civilization instead of one built primarily on warfare and conquest. Religion also played a central role in their rise. The Minoans appeared to worship nature and fertility-related deities, often symbolized by powerful female figures. Frescoes and statues show elaborate rituals, sacred animals like bulls, and ceremonies that suggest a deeply spiritual society closely connected to the natural world. Their religious beliefs may have helped unify their communities and strengthen social stability, allowing them to focus on growth and cultural development rather than constant conflict. Another fascinating aspect of their rise lies in their early writing systems. The Minoans developed scripts known as Cretan hieroglyphs and later Linear A, which were used to record economic transactions, administrative details, and possibly religious texts. Although Linear A remains largely undeciphered, its existence proves the Minoans had already created complex systems of record-keeping and governance, thousands of years before many other European societies reached similar levels of organization. The rise of the Minoan civilization represents a turning point in European history. They built one of the earliest complex societies on the continent, mastered maritime trade, pioneered architectural innovations, and created cultural traditions that would influence later Greek civilization. Their dominance across the Mediterranean established Crete as a center of power, wealth and creativity attracting merchants, travelers, and neighboring cultures who encountered this thriving island civilization and carried stories of its prosperity across the ancient world. At the heart of Minoan civilization stood a structure so vast, complex, and mysterious that it would later inspire one of the most famous myths in human history. The Palace of Knossos, located on the northern coast of Crete, was not just a royal residence but the beating heart of Minoan political, cultural, and economic life. Built around 1900 BCE and expanded over centuries, this enormous complex reflected the intelligence, creativity, and organizational brilliance of a society far ahead of its time. When archaeologists first uncovered its ruins in the early 20th century, they were astonished by its size and sophistication, discovering a building so intricate that it seemed almost impossible for an ancient civilization to design. The palace itself was a sprawling network of corridors, staircases, courtyards, storage rooms, workshops, and ceremonial chambers. Instead of following a simple, symmetrical layout, the structure expanded organically over generations, creating a maze-like design filled with hundreds of interconnected rooms. Some sections of the palace rose multiple stories high, supported by wooden columns and carefully engineered foundations designed to withstand earthquakes, which were common in the region. The advanced architectural planning demonstrated a deep understanding of engineering principles, ventilation and natural lighting. Skylights and open courtyards allowed sunlight to illuminate interior spaces, while cleverly designed drainage systems transported wastewater away from living areas, revealing a level of sanitation rarely seen in the ancient world. Inside the palace, vibrant frescoes covered the walls, depicting scenes of daily life, religious ceremonies, marine environments, and athletic events. These paintings provide historians with some of the most detailed glimpses into Minoan culture. Unlike many ancient societies that focused on warfare and conquest in their artwork, the frescoes of Knossos portrayed graceful dancers, bull-leaping athletes, dolphins swimming through crystal-clear waters, and elegantly dressed individuals participating in rituals and celebrations. These artistic choices suggest a society that valued beauty, ceremony, and harmony with nature. The palace also functioned as a massive economic center. Large storage rooms known as magazines contained enormous clay jars called pithoi, which stored olive oil, grain, wine, and other valuable goods. These storage systems reveal that the palace controlled trade, taxation, and distribution of resources across the island. Clay tablets discovered within the palace indicate the use of early writing systems to track inventories and economic transactions, proving that Knossos operated as a sophisticated administrative headquarters managing the wealth and trade networks of the entire civilization. Yet the most fascinating aspect of the Palace of Knossos lies not only in its architecture, but in the legends it inspired. Centuries after the decline of the Minoans, Ancient Greek storytellers spoke of a mythical king named Minos who ruled Crete from a magnificent palace. According to Greek mythology, King Minos ordered the construction of a labyrinth beneath his palace to imprison a terrifying creature known as the Minotaur, a monstrous being with the body of a man and the head of a bull. The labyrinth was described as an inescapable maze designed by a master craftsman named Daedalus, trapping anyone who entered within its endless twisting corridors. Many historians believe this myth may have been inspired by the actual design of the Palace of Knossos. The complex and confusing layout of the palace could easily have appeared labyrinth-like to later visitors or storytellers who encountered its ruins. The frequent appearance of bull imagery throughout Minoan art further strengthens this connection. Bulls held significant symbolic importance in Minoan religion and culture, often associated with strength, fertility, and divine power. The dangerous and acrobatic sport of bull leaping, frequently depicted in palace frescoes, may have contributed to the development of myths surrounding sacred bulls and monstrous creatures. The connection between myth and archaeology creates one of the most intriguing mysteries surrounding Knossos. Some scholars argue that the legend of the Minotaur represents a symbolic memory of Minoan religious rituals, while others believe it reflects the fear and fascination mainland Greeks felt toward this powerful and unfamiliar civilization. The Greek word labyrinth itself may even originate from the term labyrinth, referring to a double-headed axe frequently found in Minoan religious symbols, suggesting the myth may contain hidden linguistic and cultural clues connected to the palace. The Palace of Knossos stands as one of the most remarkable architectural achievements of the ancient world, blending advanced engineering, vibrant artistic expression, and powerful religious symbolism within a single monumental complex that continues to blur the boundary between historical reality and legendary storytelling. When historians study ancient civilizations, one pattern usually appears again and again: strong armies, defensive city walls, and weapons designed for conquest and survival. From the towering fortifications of Mesopotamian cities to the heavily defended strongholds of ancient Egypt and later Greek societies, warfare was often a central part of early civilization. Yet, when archaeologists began uncovering the remains of the Minoan civilization, they encountered something deeply puzzling. Across many major Minoan cities, including Knossos, Phaistos, and Malea, there was a surprising absence of defensive walls and military fortifications. This unusual discovery sparked one of history's most fascinating debates. Could the Minoans have built a powerful civilization that thrived largely without war? The layout of Minoan cities appears open and welcoming rather than defensive and protective. Their palaces were built with wide courtyards, complex living quarters, and administrative centers, but they lacked the thick stone walls and guard towers commonly found in other ancient societies. Archaeologists also discovered very few weapons compared to other civilizations of the same period. While some tools and ceremonial weapons existed, the overall archaeological evidence does not suggest a society heavily focused on military preparation or constant warfare. This led many early historians to describe the Minoans as a peaceful, trade-driven civilization that relied on cooperation and economic power rather than violence. One of the main theories supporting this peaceful image revolves around the Minoans' dominance of the sea. Crete's location in the center of the Mediterranean gave the Minoans a powerful advantage through naval strength. Instead of building walls around their cities, they may have used their advanced ships to control trade routes and protect their territory. Historians often refer to this concept as a thalassocracy, meaning rule through naval power. Minoan ships were capable of long-distance travel, and their presence across the Mediterranean likely discouraged potential invaders. If enemies had to face a strong and organized fleet before reaching the island, city walls may have seemed unnecessary. Minoan artwork further strengthens the idea of a less militaristic society. Frescoes and decorative carvings rarely depict battle scenes, violent conflicts, or military victories. Instead, their art celebrates nature, religious ceremonies, sports, and daily life. Images of bull-leaping athletes, dancers, sea creatures, and elaborate rituals dominate their artistic expression. This artistic focus suggests a culture that valued celebration, spiritual connection, and community activity rather than glorifying war and conquest. However, not all historians agree with the idea of a completely peaceful Minoan society. Some scholars argue that the absence of defensive structures does not necessarily mean the absence of conflict. They suggest that the Minoans may have relied on diplomatic relationships, trade alliances, and economic influence to maintain stability. Control over valuable trade goods such as olive oil, saffron, pottery, and luxury items could have allowed the Minoans to build strong partnerships with neighboring civilizations, reducing the likelihood of military confrontation. There is also evidence that Minoan society possessed symbols of authority and power that may have included military elements. Certain artifacts show figures carrying weapons or participating in ceremonial displays that might represent elite warriors or ritual combat traditions. Some historians believe these images suggest that while warfare may not have been central to Minoan culture, the civilization still maintained the ability to defend itself when necessary. Another possibility is that the Minoans experienced periods of peace followed by episodes of conflict that left fewer archaeological traces. Natural disasters, earthquakes, and rebuilding efforts may have destroyed evidence of earlier fortifications or military structures. Additionally, later invasions by the Mycenaeans, a more militaristic Greek civilization, may have overshadowed or replaced earlier defensive systems that once existed. The debate surrounding Minoan peace challenges our understanding of how early civilizations functioned. The possibility that a complex society could rise to power through trade, cultural exchange, and maritime dominance rather than constant warfare offers a different perspective on ancient human development. The Minoans appear to have created a society that prioritized prosperity, artistic expression, and spiritual life, leaving behind a legacy that continues to challenge traditional views of how power and success were achieved in the ancient world. Among all the mysteries surrounding the Minoan civilization, perhaps none is more frustrating and fascinating than their lost language. While archaeologists have uncovered magnificent palaces, breathtaking artwork, and advanced city structures, one crucial element of Minoan life remains locked behind an undeciphered code. Scattered across ruins in Crete, historians have discovered hundreds of clay tablets, seals, and inscriptions written in a script known as linear A. These symbols represent one of the greatest unsolved linguistic puzzles in ancient history, leaving researchers with a silent civilization that refuses to fully tell its story. The Minoans developed their writing system around 1800 BCE, using it primarily for administration, trade records, and possibly religious documentation. Linear A evolved from an earlier writing style known as Cretan hieroglyphs, which included pictorial symbols resembling objects, animals, and tools. Over time, these pictographs transformed into the more abstract and organized symbols that form Linear A. The script consists of dozens of signs that appear to represent sounds, words, or numerical values, suggesting a highly structured language system capable of managing complex economic and political activities. Archaeologists discovered most Linear A inscriptions inside palace complexes such as Knossos, Phaistos, and Hagia Triada. These tablets were typically found in storage areas and administrative rooms, indicating they were used for record-keeping. Many tablets list goods such as grain, olive oil, livestock, textiles, and luxury materials, revealing the highly organized economic network that supported Minoan society. Despite understanding the general purpose of these records, scholars still cannot translate the actual language hidden within the symbols. The challenge of deciphering Linear A lies in the absence of a bilingual translation. Many ancient languages were successfully decoded because researchers found inscriptions written in 2 or more languages, allowing scholars to compare known words with unknown ones. The famous Rosetta Stone, for example, allowed historians to unlock Egyptian hieroglyphs by comparing them with Greek text. Unfortunately, no equivalent discovery has been made for Linear A without a translation key. Scholars must rely on pattern recognition, symbol frequency analysis, and comparisons with other ancient scripts. Adding to the mystery is the discovery of another script called Linear B, which appears visually similar to Linear A, but was successfully deciphered in the 1950s. Linear B was used by the Mycenaean Greeks, a civilization that eventually occupied parts of Crete after the decline of the Minoans. When researchers decoded Linear B, they discovered it recorded an early form of the Greek language. Initially, historians hoped Linear A would simply be an earlier version of Greek, but this theory quickly collapsed when translations failed to produce recognizable Greek vocabulary or grammatical patterns. The realization that Linear A represents a completely different language created even greater confusion. It suggests that the Minoans spoke a language unrelated to later Greek civilization, meaning their cultural identity may have been far more unique than previously imagined. Some scholars believe the Minoan language may have connections to ancient Anatolian or Near Eastern languages, while others argue it represents a completely isolated linguistic group that disappeared along with the civilization itself. The inability to translate Linear A prevents historians from fully understanding Minoan government systems, religious beliefs, legal structures, and social organization. The clay tablets may contain royal decrees, mythological stories, or sacred rituals that could completely reshape our knowledge of early European civilization. Every symbol carved into those tablets represents a voice from a society that once flourished but now remains silent, waiting for modern scholars to rediscover its meaning. Modern technology has brought new hope to the study of Linear A. Advanced computer analysis allows researchers to compare symbol patterns across thousands of inscriptions, searching for hidden linguistic structures. Artificial intelligence programs are now being used to analyze statistical relationships between symbols, attempting to identify grammar patterns and possible vocabulary connections. Despite these technological breakthroughs, the language continues to resist translation, maintaining its position as one of archaeology's most enduring puzzles. The mystery of Linear A highlights how fragile human knowledge can be. Entire civilizations can rise to extraordinary levels of achievement. Yet, without readable records, their voices can fade into history. The Minoans left behind magnificent structures, vibrant art, and evidence of advanced social organization. But their written words remain trapped within undeciphered symbols, preserving secrets about their rulers, their religion, their economy, and their daily lives that modern civilization continues to struggle to uncover. At the height of Minoan power, when their ships dominated Mediterranean trade routes and their palaces stood as symbols of wealth and innovation, nature may have delivered a devastating blow that changed the course of their history forever. Around 1600 BCE, on the island of Thera, known today as Santorini, one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded human history exploded with unimaginable force. Located only about 100 kilometers north of Crete, this catastrophic event has become one of the leading theories behind the mysterious decline of the Minoan civilization. Before the eruption, Thera was a thriving island that shared strong cultural and economic ties with the Minoans. Archaeological excavations at the ancient city of Crete on Santorini reveal a highly advanced settlement filled with multi-story buildings, colorful frescoes, and organized streets that closely resembled Minoan architecture and artistic style. The city appears to have been an important trading partner and possibly a key outpost within the Minoan Maritime network. However, beneath this prosperous island, pressure was building deep within the Earth's crust, preparing to unleash a disaster that would reshape the entire region. When the volcano finally erupted, it released an explosion so powerful that scientists compare it to the force of hundreds of atomic bombs detonating simultaneously. The eruption blasted ash, rock, and gas high into the atmosphere, darkening skies across the Mediterranean. Entire sections of the island collapsed into the sea, forming the massive caldera that defines modern Santorini. The explosion created shockwaves that traveled across the region, while burning volcanic debris rained down on surrounding islands, destroying settlements and agricultural land. One of the most devastating consequences of the eruption was the series of massive tsunamis that followed. As parts of the volcanic island collapsed into the sea, enormous waves surged outward across the Aegean Sea, slamming into the northern coast of Crete, where many important Minoan ports and cities were located. Archaeological evidence suggests coastal settlements were severely damaged or completely destroyed by these powerful waves. Ports that once supported Minoan trade networks may have been wiped out within hours, crippling their economic system and isolating the island from its trading partners. The eruption also triggered long-term environmental consequences that could have weakened Minoan society over decades. Ash clouds released into the atmosphere may have disrupted climate patterns, reducing sunlight and damaging crops across the region. Agricultural failure could have led to food shortages, economic instability, and population decline. Trade routes that once brought wealth and resources to Crete may have collapsed as surrounding regions struggled to recover from the disaster. The combined impact of natural destruction and economic disruption may have created a chain reaction that slowly weakened Minoan dominance. The Thera eruption has also been connected to ancient legends and myths that describe catastrophic events destroying powerful civilizations. Some historians believe this disaster may have inspired the Greek myth of Atlantis, a legendary advanced society said to have been destroyed by natural catastrophe and submerged beneath the sea. Although Atlantis remains a mythological story, the scale of destruction caused by the Thera eruption closely matches descriptions of sudden collapse and environmental devastation found in ancient storytelling traditions. Despite the overwhelming evidence of destruction, the eruption may not have immediately ended the Minoan civilization. Archaeological records suggest that Minoan society continued for several decades after the eruption, rebuilding damaged cities and attempting to restore trade networks. However, the disaster likely left the civilization severely weakened, making it vulnerable to external threats. Many historians believe the eruption created the perfect conditions for the rise of the Mycenaeans, a powerful and militaristic civilization from mainland Greece that eventually gained control over Minoan territories. The eruption of Thera represents one of the most dramatic examples of how natural forces can shape human history. It demonstrates how even the most advanced and prosperous civilizations can be vulnerable to environmental catastrophe. The destruction caused by this volcanic explosion may have shattered the foundations of Minoan power, altering trade, agriculture, and political stability across the Mediterranean world and leaving behind a disaster that continues to shape one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. As the centuries passed after the catastrophic eruption of Thera, the once glorious Minoan civilization began fading into silence, leaving historians with one of the most haunting questions in European history: how could such an advanced and powerful society simply disappear? Unlike many civilizations that fell after a clearly recorded invasion or political revolution, the fall of the Minoans remains wrapped in uncertainty, built from fragments of archaeological evidence, scattered myths, and clues buried beneath the ruins of Crete. The disappearance of the Minoans appears to have been a slow and complex process shaped by natural disasters, foreign influence, and internal instability that gradually erased their dominance from the ancient Mediterranean. Archaeological discoveries show that after the Thera eruption, many Minoan cities suffered heavy damage but were rebuilt, suggesting that the civilization did not collapse immediately. Palaces such as Knossos continued to operate, trade networks slowly resumed, and Minoan cultural traditions remained active for several decades. However, something had clearly changed. New architectural styles, burial customs, and artistic influences began appearing across Crete, hinting that external forces were starting to shape the island's society. Among the strongest theories explaining this transformation is the arrival of the Mycenaeans, a mainland Greek civilization known for its militaristic culture and strong warrior tradition. By around 1450 BCE, archaeological evidence reveals widespread destruction across several major Minoan palace centers, including Phaistos, Malea, and Zakros. Fires appear to have consumed these palaces almost simultaneously, suggesting coordinated attacks or violent upheaval rather than random natural disasters. Shortly after this destruction, the Mycenaeans appear to have taken control of Crete, with Knossos becoming an administrative center under Mycenaean rule. Linear B tablets, which record the early Greek language, began replacing the undeciphered Linear A script, signaling a major cultural and political shift. The replacement of language and administrative systems suggests that Minoan independence had effectively ended, even though elements of their culture continued to survive under foreign control. Some historians believe that the Minoans were already weakened by the Thera eruption and subsequent economic collapse, leaving them vulnerable to invasion. Without strong defensive walls or a heavily militarized society, they may have struggled to resist Mycenaean expansion. Others argue that the transition may have been more gradual, involving trade alliances, cultural assimilation, or internal political collapse rather than outright conquest. The lack of clear historical records from the Minoans themselves makes it nearly impossible to determine whether their disappearance resulted from invasion, natural decline, or a combination of both. Despite their disappearance as a dominant political force, the Minoans left a powerful legacy that deeply influenced later Greek civilization. Many aspects of Greek mythology appear to preserve cultural memories of Minoan society. Stories such as the legend of King Minos, the Minotaur, and the Labyrinth reflect echoes of Minoan palace architecture, religious symbolism, and cultural practices. The importance of bulls in Minoan religion and ritual life appears to have transformed into mythological creatures and heroic legends within Greek storytelling traditions. Minoan artistic styles also influenced later Greek art, particularly in the use of naturalistic themes, fluid movement, and vibrant marine imagery. Their advanced architectural techniques, including multi-level structures, open courtyards, and sophisticated drainage systems, laid early foundations for Mediterranean urban planning. The Minoans also helped establish long-distance trade networks that connected Europe, Africa, and the Near East, contributing to the cultural and economic development of the entire region. The disappearance of the Minoans serves as a powerful reminder of how fragile even the most advanced civilizations can be. Their society reached remarkable levels of artistic achievement, engineering innovation, and economic prosperity, yet their story remains incomplete due to lost language, missing historical records, and unresolved archaeological mysteries. Their ruins continue to stand across Crete as silent witnesses to a civilization that once dominated the Mediterranean world, leaving behind questions that modern historians and archaeologists continue to investigate, searching for clues that might finally reveal how Europe's first great civilization rose to extraordinary heights and then slowly vanished from history. The story of the Minoan civilization is not just the tale of Europe's first advanced society, it is the story of brilliance, wrapped in mystery, achievement overshadowed by silence, and a culture that shaped history while leaving behind questions that may never be fully answered. Rising from the island of Crete nearly 4,000 years ago, the Minoans built a civilization that redefined what early European societies could achieve. They mastered the seas, constructed magnificent palaces, developed organized trade networks, and created art filled with life, color, and movement that still captivates historians today. Their society stood apart from many ancient civilizations. Instead of building massive military fortifications, they appeared to invest their energy into trade, architecture, cultural expression, and spiritual traditions. Their palaces, especially Knossos, revealed remarkable engineering skills and complex administrative systems that demonstrated how advanced their society truly was. Yet these achievements are only partially understood because the Minoans left behind a language that remains undeciphered, locking away their stories, beliefs, and government records and symbols that continue to challenge modern scholars. The devastating eruption of Thera reminds us how fragile even the strongest civilizations can be. Nature's power may have weakened the Minoans, disrupting their economy, damaging their cities, and changing the balance of power across the Mediterranean. This disaster may have opened the door for the Mycenaeans to take control, gradually replacing Minoan leadership and transforming the cultural landscape of Crete. Their disappearance was not a sudden vanishing, but a slow fading, blending their legacy into the foundations of Greek civilization and mythology. Even after their decline, the Minoans never truly disappeared. Their influence survived through Greek legends, artistic traditions, architectural techniques, and maritime trade practices that shaped the development of European culture. Stories like the Minotaur, King Minos, and the Labyrinth may reflect distant memories of a civilization that once dominated the ancient world. Their ruins still stand as reminders of a society that reached extraordinary heights of innovation and creativity long before classical Greece emerged. The Minoan civilization challenges us to rethink how early societies evolved. It shows that power does not always come through conquest and warfare, but can also grow through trade, culture, and connection with the natural world. Yet it also warns us that even the most advanced civilizations are vulnerable to forces beyond their control, natural disasters, shifting alliances, and the slow erosion of cultural identity. Today, archaeologists and historians continue searching for answers buried beneath the ruins of Crete and the ash-covered remains of Thera. Every new discovery brings us closer to understanding the people who built Europe's first great civilization. But until the secrets of Linear A are finally unlocked and new evidence emerges from beneath ancient soil, the Minoans will remain one of history's most fascinating enigmas, a civilization that rose in brilliance, shaped the ancient Mediterranean, and vanished into mystery while leaving behind echoes that still inspire curiosity and wonder across the modern world.